Lives by talking and driving. One man making his way across the country, starting conversations about mental health issues. As Fox Carolina's Myra Ruiz reports, he wants to stop addiction from cutting life short.
The Living Undeterred Tour began the journey in the Midwest, traveling thousands of miles in an eye-catching RV.
This isn't about us, even though the RV says, living undeterred on it, this is more about the country. This is more about the issues we have with mental health and the 800 Americans that die a day from overdose, alcohol, and suicide.
Jeff Johnston's 23-year-old son, Death, died from a heroin overdose in October 2016. His wife, Prudence, died 5 years later from alcoholism.
Addiction is loneliness. If you think about it, that's true. When you're with your bottle, you're drinking, or you're doing your drugs, you're by yourself, you're lonely. The opposite of loneliness is connectivity.
Johnston's cross-country tour aims at making connections through conversations that turn up the volume on mental health.
It really speaks to my heart.
Johnston spoke recently in Greenville to leaders in wellness, mental health, and addiction recovery.
As a community, we can do things, even if we're not professional counselors or if we're not someone that has educational background in counseling.
Also in the audience, the man who motivated Johnston to take action.
After I wrote my book and came out in February 2020, I made a lot of connections.
Steve Grant lost his only 2 children to accidental drug overdoses. He started a foundation in their memory.
I always say they died ahead of their time.
Chris died in 2005, Kelly in 2010. Back then, their type of deaths were not as common.
But today you hear about it a lot, and you hear about it weekly almost, that somebody passes away of a drug overdose.
Johnston hopes to change that by hitting the road and finding others who want to do the same.
I think it's the fact that most of us don't feel comfortable sharing stories that happen to us until somebody does it first.
In Greenville, Myra Ruiz, Fox Carolina News.
Well, Jeff Johnston, who's from Iowa, is a motivational speaker and author, and you can find more information about him at foxcarolina.com.